How Apple became a successful technology company. Apple's market capitalization reached $1 trillion on August 2, 2018, making it the first publicly traded U.S. business to reach that milestone. The corporation once again made history in August 2020 when its market cap surpassed $2 trillion, becoming the first U.S. company to do that. At the beginning of October 2020, Apple's stock price was hovering slightly below that point. Apple's market capitalization has consistently been in the top 5 worldwide since 2010. Later on, it remained near the pinnacle of its field. Apple's high valuation may be reduced to a few words: popular products with substantial margins. On the other hand, errors, ousted CEOs, and other surprises await in our video. So why is Apple successful internationally, and what makes Apple unique? To find out, stay tuned to Success Stories, and without any further ado, we'll get started. The evolution of Apple's Finder from Jobs to Jobs 2.0. A glance at Apple's past is necessary if one is to grasp the company's meteoric rise to prominence. A summary of Apple's timeline of groundbreaking devices from the Apple I, which was only a motherboard without a monitor or keyboard, to the newest iWatch. Apple, co-founded by Jobs and Wozniak, originally sold computer kits, including the Apple I. Now, this first batch from the factory is highly sought after by collectors. Nonetheless, it'll be most notably recognized for providing Apple with the funding it needed to develop the Apple II in 1977, the same year it became incorporated. Wozniak did the bulk of the construction on both computers, while Jobs oversaw sales and marketing. Despite having substantially unchanged hardware, the Apple II was the key revenue driver for the company until the mid-1980s. The Apple III and Apple Lisa were attempts at updating the company's products, but they were commercial failures. At the beginning of the 1980s, Apple was in difficulty despite the continued success of the Apple II. Apple took a giant step forward with the introduction of the Macintosh in 1984. IBM, however, had caught up in the years between the Apple II and the Macintosh. Apple's board of directors replaced Jobs with John Sculley after disappointing Macintosh sales and power disputes. Some sources say Jobs decided to leave. Whatever the case, following his departure from Apple, Jobs went to work for Next Inc. During Sculley's tenure, Apple expanded its product offerings. Until 1993, Sculley was Apple's CEO. Apple's growth was particularly robust throughout that time period. It developed innovative items including the laser printer, the Macintosh Portable, the PowerBook, and the Newton, amongst many others. Sales of Apple goods remained at a premium, providing the company with healthy profit margins and propelling it to record financial success. However, during this time, cheaper PCs running Windows were serving a much bigger middle market, and Windows also profited from powerful Intel CPUs. If anything, Apple appeared to be slowing down. Michael Spindler and Gil Amelio, two former CEOs, were unable to stop the widespread adoption of Microsoft Windows and Office. The Apple Macintosh was beginning to show its age, while Microsoft's new operating system Windows was rapidly becoming the standard. Amelio eventually attempted to remedy these problems by acquiring Next Inc., the firm headed by Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. Chief Executive Officer of Second Chance. Since the introduction of the Macintosh, Apple has either mirrored or responded to Steve Jobs. Apple's goal in developing the Macintosh was to produce a computer that would make using a computer both easy and pleasurable. In particular, Jobs wanted to design a Mac user interface that would make everyone want to buy one. Jobs was of the opinion that a breakthrough product could not be designed around consumer preferences. As far as he was concerned, customers couldn't appreciate a product's worth until they were using it themselves. In 1985, Jobs was unfortunately ahead of his time by exactly 12 years. In 1997, when Jobs ousted Amelio and regained control of Apple, his vision for the digital future was finally realized. Using the tagline, "Think Different," he successfully introduced the iMac to the public. Apple's success can be attributed in large part due to the company's exceptional marketing and branding, which has often been attributed to Jobs. As with every Apple product, the iMac's stunning aesthetics were its defining feature. Unlike standard desktop computers, it did not consist of a tower and a separate display screen. A rainbow blur swept back from the iMac screen, resembling a racer's helmet captured in fast-action photography. There was no more aesthetically attractive computer than the iMac in 1998. No one wanted a computer until they saw this one. It looked sophisticated and was simple to operate after an OS update. This is what we call the ecosystem. The iMac was the first in a series of successful new products from Apple that represented the company's renewed emphasis on design refinement and user satisfaction. The iBook, iPod, the iPhone, the MacBook Air, and the iPad were all represented. The The iPod was the market leader in its category of MP3 players, and the iPhone effectively introduced and later controlled the smartphone sector. Somehow, the iPad managed to persuade millions of people that they required yet another screen on which to view media. All of these gadgets were hailed as superior to their contemporaries, both in terms of quality and, most emphatically, design. Jobs was extremely dedicated to design and instilled that dedication into every aspect of Apple's corporate culture. In his second stint at Apple, he also emphasized the importance of Apple products being simple to use. The wheel on an iPod or the ability to tap icons on an iPad may seem foreign at first, but with only a few minutes of practice, they become an integral part of the intuitive experience that draws people to Apple products. The media and the general public, in addition to Apple's original devotees, now eagerly await each new product announcement from the business. What's more, Apple's new business model depends on fostering a closed loop of hardware, software, and content, and that's exactly what these devices did. Apple didn't design iTunes like many other companies' iPod software, which makes it easy to copy MP3s from a computer to an iPod. Instead, the business took aim at the concept of albums by dismantling them into individual tracks that could be sold for far less than the album's cover price. The software industry went through a similar evolution. Apple's mobile devices might perform many common computer tasks with the help of streamlined apps, which are naturally found in the App Store. Apple was the first major player in several of these areas, essentially constructing the arena and establishing the regulations. Apple receives a percentage of what you pay for content on iTunes, the App Store, and other Apple services. Of course, the markup on selling an iPhone or iPad is significantly higher, so that business generates more money. Many Apple customers are committed to their aging iDevices with newer models because of the content they've purchased through the Apple Store. The content component of the ecosystem then is profitable for Apple both immediately and in the long run. After switching to Apple due to its aesthetic appeal or ease of use, users are likely to remain loyal due to the seamlessness with which their content can be accessed and managed. Pancreatic cancer was the cause of Steve Jobs' death in 2011. Shortly before his untimely passing, Steve Jobs handed over CEO responsibilities to Tim Cook. Despite this, Apple's post-Jobs period has been highly successful. For the foreseeable future, Apple will remain the most valuable and successful technology company. There's a school of thought among industry watchers that claims Apple has stopped innovating with each new product introduction after Jobs' death. After Jobs' death, Apple Watch was their most significant product launch. The company is also responsible for developing the Apple TV and introducing the Apple TV Plus streaming video on demand service. Without a game-changing new product, Apple's financial success is dependent on the iPhone's annual production cycle. Apple's been accused of coasting on its reputation rather than its new products in recent years following the death of Steve Jobs. Even so, the company's goods were among the best available and had the best ecosystem integration. The distance between Apple and its competitors, such as Samsung and Google, was narrowing though. It's true that innovative product development is a field in which Samsung and other corporations are increasingly positioned to navigate. And on that note, I do hope you found our video entertaining. And make sure you subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you can check out our videos. As soon as they're uploaded, you will receive notifications. Let us know in the comments below how many Apple products you personally have. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching.